Coming up, some believe the China mobile payments industry is bigger than the U.S. Let's learn why. Please welcome Karl Weaver from Rivets.
You're watching YBLTV.
Let's talk about the China mobile payments and securities markets. What are your thoughts?
Well, the Chinese mobile payment market is actually much larger than the United States market, and the Chinese are very concerned about security. So actually NXP is huge in China, and NXP has made huge commitment to the China market. Actually, NXP is working with China Union Pay and all the handset manufacturers. So the Chinese market is actually much larger than the United States market because the Chinese manufacture all the smartphones in the world today. So in terms of the near-field communications technology, I started to enable that in China in 2008. Now, by 2013, NFC as a standard was launched for payments inside China, but the payment actually is interesting because in China, they use something called People's Bank of China at that time 2.0 for the payment standard, which is all endorsed by China Union Pay. So you see, it's a little bit different than America. We go, and Europe and the rest of the world is in the EMVCo standard. But in China, it's actually for domestic, it's actually called PBOC, People's Bank of China standard. Every single smartphone in China that is doing mobile payments for near-field proximity must use that.
So how can we make the smartphones more secure?
Smartphones are very, very secure today for mobile payment, coming from two main tamper-resistant factors. Number one is, of course, NXP's NFC controller chip, which also has an embedded secure element for the payment credentials, because companies like Apple tokenize their payment credentials. So they basically provide a token which is embedded into the secure element of NXP's controller chip for Apple Pay. Samsung actually does the same thing, but Samsung also uses the cloud, something called host card emulation, as do most Android smartphones. They use host card emulation, HCE NFC, in order to provide the payment data from the cloud back to the handset for getting ready for the point of sale at the point of sale device at the merchant's terminal. There are various ways that payment are going on, and I do lots of public speaking on something called the rise of everything pay. We have Apple Pay, we have Samsung Pay, we have Android Pay, we also have Walmart Pay, we have Alipay, which is very big in China. But you see, there's something very different in China with how third-party payment parties do payment as opposed to China Union Pay and the mobile network operators, because they're using barcode technology, which is inferior, not secure, but Alipay and WeChat Pay, which are two online e-commerce companies, they use that, and that is very proliferate. It's 80% of the market now in China, whereas the other guys only have 20% of the market. Apple Pay and Samsung Pay have officially endorsed that they will work together with China Union Pay in China to launch in 2016. The real key is to combat against using barcode, which is inferior, not secure. Unfortunately, Alipay and WeChat are using that right now. My impression is they will also migrate to using NFC and proximity payments and use biometric authentication, either thumbprint, which most vendors will use, or facial recognition. Jack Ma of Alipay, I think, demoed that last year at a trade show. So the real key is payment and security have never been any more secure than they are right now. And Apple Pay is leading the way, but they're not the only ones. You spoke earlier about Samsung. Samsung has a very interesting technology along with NFC called MST, and that is very interesting, cool technology that just takes the traditional mag strip technology and embeds it on a chip on their smartphones. So actually Samsung Pay is also a very, very good position for their mobile payment initiative, as good as Apple's position. And I also gave a presentation about Starbucks adopting Apple Pay. You see, in 2009, I gave a presentation about how you can scale mobile proximity payments around the world. I made a prediction at a conference in 2009 in Shanghai. The only way that would happen, and all my predictions are coming true, are three things. Number one, first of all, Apple would have to adopt NFC and EMVCo at the point of sale. Done deal, 1 year now. Number two, Starbucks would have to adopt EMVCo and NFC point of sale, which they haven't done in America, but they've done in Canada and in the UK already. So, hello, America, time to wake up. Number three, the International Airline Transportation Association has to adopt NFC as a standard, not just ticketing, immigration, luggage, everything. And they have a 19-point plan put out there that Apple has an application already waiting to use. Apple is very well aware of this technology, and they're waiting for the International Airline Transportation Association to adopt this, because the other transportation sectors, the taxis, the subways, are already using NFC around the world. So you see, the last domino to fall to have ubiquitous payments, proximity payments in the world today, is the International Airline Transportation Association, because the taxis around the world, many taxis are using NFC, especially in Asia. All the subways in Asia and Europe and even in America now. I'm in Seattle. I live in Seattle. We have the Sound Transit card. It's an NFC-enabled, using my fare, NFC-enabled transit, value-added transit card. But it's easy to adopt that as a mobile app. This technology is coming, even though we Americans are, I'm sorry to say, we're somewhat of laggards. They think NFC means National Football Conference. Go Seahawks! But the fact of the matter is this technology came from the Europeans, and that's why we Americans are playing catch up with the adoption. Even though we're, the whole smart card technology comes from the French and the Germans. So we're playing catch up on all these technologies.